Hi, this is Kathy Forste here, music director at Café Radio. And today we're going to be chatting with a really great singer-songwriter, Josie Bello. Josie has a new CD out called Have Purpose, Live Long, and it's been getting rave reviews from around the world. And her music really speaks the truth from both the head and the heart. And you can find her music at josiebello.com. And Josie, thank you so much for chatting with us today on Café Radio.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So how are things going in your part of the world? Is the COVID thing kind of taken over? Or?
Well, it hasn't been as bad as the first surge, but we're having an uptick, and we've now been given a lot of guidance. And bars, restaurants have to close at 10 o'clock. They're at 50% capacity, and there's talk about closing the schools again. So, it's starting to happen once again.
Yeah, it's gotten, I think it's worse here than it's ever been, I think, here in the Kansas City area. I'm a music teacher, and I had, just in this last week, I've had 6 students who've told me that they can't make lessons because of being exposed to COVID. So yeah, it's not good. And I know one of the elementary schools here also closed, and they're talking about going into a complete shutdown again. So yeah. It's crazy.
It's hitting. As far as, there's a health crisis, yes, but it is hitting everyone's pocketbook.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's business is affected, everybody's income. It's tough all the way around for everyone.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, exactly, all the way around. So anyway, let's go on to nicer things and more positive things. Let's talk about your music.
My depressing songs.
Now, your songs are kind of, like I said, they speak the truth. They kind of are uplifting in the way that they kind of speak the truth and give you hope. So let's talk about the new album. When did you record this? How long ago did you work on this album?
It was almost done. All the recording was done, but the mixing and the mastering was not done when the first lockdown here occurred, which is around March 17th.
Uh-huh.
So for part of that, I was scrambling to work online and remotely with my producer and the engineers. And I think by April we sort of wrapped it up, and I think August 1st is when that was the actual release, August 1st.
Yeah, and how are you able to promote it with going through this pandemic? I know I released an album in February, and I've just found it almost impossible to try and get out there and promote it. So
you can't get out there and promote it.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. So it's done just Spotify campaigns and things like that.
Yeah, doing interviews.
Yeah, and we've been very lucky. I put a band together. We haven't been able to practice much together, but we had some events that we had been invited to that we were able to live stream. So I did a few live streams, and we had a warehouse that we were able to film in, and then they used the video for the event. There was like a festival that usually takes place in person, and we had been invited to. And John Platt's On Your Radar, that's going to be broadcast in December. We were able to also film that in a warehouse remotely.
So. Oh, very cool. That's nice. So this is your second album, is that right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
My first album was called Can't Go Home.
And have you been doing music for a really long time, or have you just decided not to make albums up until this point? I mean, how did you get to this point in your life with your music?
One day, about 5.5 years ago, actually 6 years ago, my husband and I went to an event that was a singer-songwriter event. And it was the first one we had ever been to. We read about it in the local newspaper, and he said, look, you don't like bar bands. Why don't we try this? So we go, we're sitting in the audience, and sometime around intermission, he looks at me and he says, I want to do that. I said, you want to do what? He said, well, I want to write songs, and I want to get up. I said, what are you going to do? We don't play any instruments. What are you talking about? He said, no, when I was younger, I played guitar. Still have guitars at my mom's house. I'm going to go get them. I said, okay. I said, well, I used to play accordion. I mean, I could go get that from my garage. So we started. He writes music, my husband, and he's into prog rock. So he wrote a couple of songs, and I went with him, and that was the guy let us play. But he said, "I'll give you 6 months, and then you can come up and play some of these songs." He gave us 4 songs, and that was 5.5 years ago, and that was the first time that we had ever performed. And I
Oh,
got hooked on songwriting. I started writing my own songs. I took guitar lessons, and it was just, I loved it. It was like a door opened, a
mhm.
creative door.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you come from a musical family? Do you have that in your background, music in your background?
The only thing that's musical in my background was that when I was little, I wanted to take guitar lessons, and my parents said, "No, you can't take guitar lessons. That's not good. You got to take accordion lessons, and you'll be the life of every party."
Yeah.
And they gave me this big book of Italian songs, and I had to work my way through it with an accordion teacher. And no one ever asked me to play accordion. I did the whole. I'm old. I've been to a million parties. It's never happened. So,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
Do you play accordion in any of your shows? Do you try to play it?
I do. I do. It's hard to mic an accordion. It's hard to get the levels correctly.
Hmm.
So sometimes I just use the keyboard and I flip on the accordion sound. But there's a actual accordion on most of my recordings. Sometimes it's a little in the background. Sometimes it's a little in the front. But it's always there, a little accordion. I owe it to my grandparents, who I think paid for my lessons.
Yeah. So you were talking about you just started songwriting then, what, 5 or so years ago then? Is that what you were saying?
I've been writing, yes, for about 5.5 years, but I've always had music in my life. My husband and I, and even before that, before I met him, we've always been huge consumers of music. We
Mm-hmm.
live near New York City. We've seen every major band. It, it, music has always been there.
Mm-hmm. So who's your big inspirations as far as songwriting is concerned?
My songwriting idol is Bruce Springsteen, and he's a huge inspiration. And
He's pretty good.
Emmylou Harris,
Yeah.
he's okay, right?
Yeah, he's done a
I
few good
probably have a
things.
lot of, yeah. And Emmylou is another idol too.
Yeah, she's got a beautiful voice. Yeah. You can't ever go wrong with an Emmylou Harris song. So,
No,
do you ever co-write, or have you always written on your own?
I just started a little bit of co-writing. It hasn't gone anywhere yet. I think it's hard to find a good match, like a good. It's like a marriage, You have to really, you got to kiss a lot of frogs. So, but I'm starting because the whole isolation thing. I mean, I hardly go out now, so I'm home a lot. And if you're not out in the world, it's hard to get inspiration. So it's a little bit easier when you are talking to other people, even online, and then you kind of kick around song ideas.
Right. So, you have your title cut from the new album is called "Have Purpose, Live Long." What was the inspiration for that song?
My mom is in a nursing home, and uh, she's not well. And I was thinking about what it was like to leave your loved ones behind. Both, not being able to protect your children anymore, be there for your family. And that was the inspiration. That and thinking about maybe my own demise and what it would be like to leave my son. He's an adult. He has a girlfriend. They're getting engaged. He's fine. But you think about being forgotten, and you
Hmm.
also think about not being there for them when they need you. So those two things are themes that counter themes that sort of run through that song.
Yeah. Can you do that song for us right now?
Sure, that'd be my pleasure. I want to have peace, and I want to be strong. I want to have purpose, and I want to live long. I want to stand up with all my might, and I want to back down when the time is right. I want to have purpose, and I want to live long. And when I'm done, I want to be remembered. Don't want to disappear into the forever. And I want you to know, if there's a way to show my love from the grave, I will always be with you for the rest of your days. I wanna be right and admit when I'm wrong. I wanna stand out, and I wanna belong. I wanna have purpose, and I wanna live long. And when I'm done, I wanna be remembered. Don't wanna disappear into the forever. And I want you to know, if there's a way to show my love from the grave, I'll always be with you for the rest of your days. I want to live honest, and I want to be grateful. I want to have peace, and I want to be strong. I want to have purpose, and I want to live long. I want to have purpose, and I want to live long. I want to live long.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that song so much. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Brought a tear to my eye. So you just wrote, when did you write that song? Where does that come in your lineage of songwriting? Was that one of the first songs you wrote? Is that a newer song?
No, it's newer. The first album came out in December of 2018, and it hadn't been written yet. And then I realized that I needed to try to get it on the radio, the first album. So in May of 2019, I sort of re-released it and did a campaign. And then somewhere in December, it was around Christmas of 2019 that I wrote this song.
Hmm. So it's a
And
fairly new tune then.
it is. And the recording process for the second album was already underway.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
so what point did you decide that would be the title track?
you know what? I it's hard. That's a hard decision to make because when you
Mm-hmm.
take a title of a song and you imagine it as a title track, all the titles could work, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I think if, I talked about it with my husband and some friends, and they thought that that title sort of represented the rest of the album,
Mm-hmm.
the material that's in the rest of the album. So that's why I did it.
Yeah.
But while I'm recording, I always get the urge to write, and then I end up substituting in new songs for songs that I had intended to record. I
Yeah.
don't know how that works.
Yeah. Well, you just get inspired and you keep writing. So that's a great thing. Do you write every day? Is writing something that you try to make part of your daily schedule?
Yeah, I write songs while I'm driving. I sing, and then I get home and I'm putting home groceries, and I'm like, what was that song? And I forgot it. So I find that you kind of have to have a notebook with you or something, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't always bother with that. I know that you're a songwriter too, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been writing since I was like 13 years old. So I've been writing for a very long time. So yeah, yeah. But I have notebooks full of ideas, and then if I get stuck, I'll go into one of those notebooks and see if that idea will fit what I'm working on. So that's, I think it's always a good idea to jot down if you get a good idea and just jot it down because you never know when it'll be used. So
Wow.
yeah.
See, I've been writing my whole life. I was a science writer, and wrote medical things, medical documents, consent documents, research grants, and I realized I was creating mountains and mountains of paper that no one was ever going to read. And
Yeah.
I thought, wow, the songwriting thing is so cool. You can get an idea and encapsulate it, and in 4 minutes deliver it. And you don't need a lot of. It's okay to have a whole bunch of people with attention deficit disorder, which is what we've turned into a population of.
Hmm.
You can hold anyone's attention for 3 or 4 minutes, and you get your idea out.
Right. Yeah. Especially with a good set of lyrics, you can hold somebody's attention. So
The
I'm
hook.
always,
Right?
as a songwriter, I'm always attracted more to lyrics than I am music. So if I hear a good lyric, I'm hooked. I mean, I want to hear the rest of that lyric. I want to hear the rest of the story. So
Nice.
yeah.
Do you
Um,
ever worry that you're out of songs?
I've hit writer's blocks before, and I definitely do not write as much now as I did at one point in my life. Back in the mid '90s, I don't know why, but I wrote constantly. I was writing constantly. And now, since I've become a mom and I have all these other things happening in my life, I just don't have the time to sit down and write like I used to. So I write maybe 5 songs a year now, where before I would write 5 songs in a month. So, you know.
Oh, well, I write 5 songs a day, but most of them are garbage. I mean, you get 5 good songs a year. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, when I sit down to write, it's a really conscious thing. I'm going to write a song. That's my kind of
Oh,
my philosophy to it. So you also perform with a couple of different incarnations. You perform solo, you perform with your husband, and you also perform with a band called the Kit House Band. Tell
yeah,
me
that's
about.
the band. Yeah, that's the band I put together in the past year. We were doing pretty good until COVID hit. We had a lot of bookings and stuff.
What's the makeup of that band? Is it guitar? What is it mostly?
Well, I've switched between guitar and keyboards, and we have a terrific guitar player by the name of Sean Cullinane. My husband plays bass. He's a really good bass player, and his name is Frank Bello, which coincides with another famous bass player who was from Anthrax. So sometimes he gets emails and stuff, but they're really for the Frank Bello from Anthrax. And
That's
we
funny.
have a drummer. A drummer is Vicky Leota, and so the four of us really make up the band. And we've thought about adding people on occasion, maybe somebody with a banjo or somebody with a fiddle.
Hmm.
But we kind of wanted to become a more tight knit group before we added some other instruments.
Hmm. And so, what's the genre of that band? Are you guys doing covers? Are you doing bluegrass? What's your?
We do mostly originals, my work, and sometimes we do maybe an interpretive cover, but I lean toward more the Americana folk, sometimes on the country side of it all,
Hmm.
and that's why some of my songs would sound good with banjo or fiddle.
Hmm.
So.
Yeah. So whenever you're going to whenever you started doing your music, what attracted you to that style of music? Was it, I mean, because you said you like Bruce Springsteen. Was there like an artist in that genre that really attracted you and that you wanted to emulate?
No, but I think from the music that I listened to, like Poco and Emmy Lou, I
Hmm.
think it was sort of inside of me. It just came out naturally.
Hmm.
And I was born and raised in New York City, so it's kind of weird, but
Yeah.
there's a big country scene in Brooklyn too. So, you
Yeah.
know,
I mean, my favorite country artist, who I really don't even think is country, is Mary Chapin Carpenter, and
oh,
she's from the East Coast. She's an East Coaster, so.
that's right. I think she's from New Jersey.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I'm not sure, but I know it's the East Coast. So,
Yeah, and she's another. Talk about songwriters who are inspirations for women.
yes, yeah. Nobody can write a lyric like Mary Chapin Carpenter. She's just incredible. So I just asked you about covers. Do you ever do any covers in your act? And if so, what covers do you do?
We've, like I've done a Melanie song and a couple of Springsteen songs, but not really. I don't have too much interest in pursuing other music because when we do a song, we try to do it as right as we can, and it takes a lot of time sometimes to copy somebody else's song.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I want to spend that much time on that. Although listening to other people's songs is very inspirational and gives you ideas for instrumentation and arrangements. But I don't know that I want to spend that much time. I guess as I age, I feel like I want to get it all in. So as much as I enjoy going to concerts and being a spectator, I also want to write my own songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of my favorite songs on the album, and I've told you this already, is "I Bleed Human." Can you tell me about that song and then play it for us?
Yeah, that song occurred to me when I was just frustrated one night watching the news and feeling like there's just too much damn intolerance. At the end of the day, we all have a lot of similar experiences. I was also thinking about the doctors and nurses and other healthcare workers in the emergency rooms. When somebody comes in and they're bleeding or hurting, they're not looking at the color of their skin. They're dealing with medical issues. So those two ideas kind of converged, and the second verse is about love. Regardless, you love the same no matter what gender you are, and that really has to do with, the prejudice against. I raised a son, and he's sensitive and caring and loving, and
Mm-hmm.
and he's committed, and I think we have to look beyond things like skin color and gender and stop generalizing and realize that we all pretty much want the same things. We may have different opinions about things and different ways to solve problems, but when we suffer, we all suffer the same way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Can you play that song for us now?
Sure, that would be my pleasure. Thank you for asking. This This is a brand new guitar, by the way. My husband, my birthday is Thanksgiving, and he bought me this guitar, and he said, "Oh, this will make you sound better."
Well, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. It's one of those automatic guitars. They drive themselves now. I think I want a guitar that plays itself. When I bleed human. Don't tell you nothing about the color of my skin. When I bleed human. Only tells you the condition I'm in. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. We only look at the outside. When I love forever. Don't tell you nothing about the gender I'm in. When I love forever. Only tells you the condition I'm in. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just don't know why. We only look at the outside. Where I'm in pain, it pains my family. Don't tell you nothing about my family tree. When I'm in pain, it pains my family. Only tells you the condition I'm in. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. We only look at the outside. When I bleed human. Don't tell you nothing about the color of my skin. When I bleed human. Only tells you the condition I'm in. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. We only look at the outside. Nothing of value on the outside. You gotta look at the inside.
that song.
Thank you.
It's great. So what do you want to see where your music go from here? What's your future plans for your music?
My goal has always been, since I started writing, is to have a real recording artist play my work and sing my work, like a Beth Hart, a Bonnie Raitt, an Emmylou Harris. I, that is, I had no intention of doing any performing, but no one else really wants to do my songs, so I have to do them myself.
Yeah. I'm sure if you got your songs out there to the right person that someone would pick up and do one of your tunes.
I hope so, but thank you. I heard that the real key to that is just to get them on the airwaves and get them out there and have somebody hear them who ends up recommending them to an artist or have an artist hear them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it takes a lot of luck. It's more than anything else, you know. It's
Yeah.
you know, that's what the music business is a lot of luck. So
I
um
think every business, everything in life, involves a little luck.
mhm,
Maybe entertainment involves a lot of luck, but there's always luck involved, right?
right. Yeah. Yeah. Knowing the right people. Um,
Yeah.
so I know that all of our lives are in limbo right now as far as what we're going to be doing in the next 6 months, but are you foreseeing another album release? Are you wanting to get out there and promote? Are you going to try to tour? What's your plans?
We had some preliminary tour dates that coincided with the release of the new album, which was going to be more like June 1st. But everything got canceled. I had been invited on a European tour, and that got canceled. Um, and you know what? I don't know that I want to travel anymore anyway. So I have been writing, and I am learning how to record and track some things at home, which I can then send out to the people that really work on my recordings.
Hmm.
Um, I'm going to be doing that for the next 6 months.
Yeah. Until we figure out where we're going from here, right?
I hope we're going somewhere. It's
Yeah.
scary, and I worry about everybody. I'm sure, as a mother, that just becomes part of your nature,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. And especially with me, I have a son in school, and so it's like, I just hope they keep them safe or we can keep them safe somehow,
Yeah.
So, so
That's
one
the
more,
hardest part, like letting them go wherever
yes.
they go.
Yeah. My son's 17, so he's getting to that point where he's going to be going out on his own. And it's like, I don't know if this kid's ready for it. I don't know if I'm ready for it. So you kind of,
Yeah, he'll be
so
ready before you.
I know he will. He's already told me that. So I got one last question for you. And this is a question I call my James Lipton question. Um,
Okay.
what is your favorite song by someone else and why?
Um,
It's a stumper, I know.
no, it's not actually. Teenager in Love by Dion.
Really? That's an interesting one. And why
I
is that?
love I love him. I've loved him since I was little. I love his voice. I've gotten to see him in concert a few times, and I saw him in the last few years, and he's still amazing. And he's also got like a new album out called Blues with Friends, and I just think he's one of the greatest song stylists and singers of all time.
Yeah, he has an amazing voice. I agree. Well, that's a really good answer. I've usually I get things like Joni Mitchell and stuff like that. So that's great. I'm glad I got a different kind of answer there. All right. Well, Josie, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I'm letting everybody know the name of your album is Have Purpose, Live Long, and you can go to josiebello.com on her website. And if people want to buy the album, where can they go?
Anywhere albums are sold, you can purchase it as a download from Bandcamp, or you can purchase the physical copy through there or through my website. You just send me an email through the website and I can mail one out.
Yeah, well, that's great. So go check her out. We're playing her a lot on Casey Cafe Radio. She's getting a lot of great reviews, and as you can tell, she's got beautiful lyrics and great songs. And not all of her songs are like that. There's some other more upbeat tunes on the album too. So you're gonna love this album. I recommend it highly. It's called Half Purpose Live Long, Josie Bello. Thank you so much again for talking with us today.
Thank you for spinning my tunes. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Let's see.